Hey barbecue family, Kenyatta Robinson here. Welcome back to my Backyard Smokemaster Barbecue channel. Today we're gonna do pork belly burnt ends on the Weber Summit Kamado grill. All right, so I'm expecting this to be about a 5, maybe 6 hour cook. We're gonna smoke these pork bellies. Probably aim for a temperature of around 250. I mean, anywhere between 225 and 275 is okay. So if I can stay around that 250 range, that'll be great, and that shouldn't be a problem. I think how I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna set up my briquettes. I'm gonna put the briquettes in these two charcoal baskets. They come with the Summit Kamado. I'm gonna start off by just lighting maybe 6 or 7 coals on each side, get those lit, and then I'm gonna fill the rest of the baskets up with briquettes, and also get some cherry chunks in there as well. So let's get that started. Light some at the back end, some at the front end, and there's no right or wrong way to do this, how to set up your coals. You don't have to do it this way. You might have another method that you like. I'm still getting to know my Summit Kamado, and I think this is going to work for me to maintain a nice low and slow multi-hour cook. All right, so I'm gonna let these coals ash over, maybe give them about 15 minutes or so. Then I'm gonna add the rest of the unlit coals, my wood chunks. In the meantime, I've already cubed up my pork belly, cubed it into like 1 inch by 1 inch squares, approximately. I'm gonna go inside, get them seasoned up with a nice rub, and we'll be ready to get them out on the smoker. So we'll talk about those next steps. All right guys, we're gonna get these pork bellies ready to go out on the smoker. And this is basically a recipe I'm pretty sure I took from Malcolm Reed's How to Barbecue Right channel, because I think I'm probably doing just about everything that he talked about doing. So I started off with, I got my pork belly, picked one up at Costco, had it in the freezer for a while, and decided now would be a good time to make these, because this recipe is one of my wife's all-time favorites. Like I said, I tried it after watching Malcolm Reed. She loved it so much. I'm pretty sure I didn't tinker with it or anything, but you start off by cutting your pork belly into cubes like this. I guess this is a little more than an inch, maybe 1.5 inches. And then the next thing, or the first thing I like to do, is I have these cooking racks that I can put my pork bellies into, take them out to the smoker, makes it easy for transport. I just got these sitting on a couple of cookie sheets that I've lined up with parchment paper just to contain the mess. I'm gonna start off by spraying these with some Pam, because the pork bellies will stick. They're gonna generate a lot of grease, but they do tend to stick. I just know that from experience. So we're gonna spray them. Gonna get them into these racks. It's a picture of me with Harry Sue. Slap Your Daddy Barbecue down in Southern California. So next I'm gonna just hit these with some more Pam just to help the rub stick. And then I'm just gonna coat them. This is Killer Hogs BBQ Rub. Gives a nice color to these burnt ends and great flavor. And this is just the first step of the process, right? We're gonna get these out on the smoker so they can get bathed in that smoke flavor. They're gonna be on there for a couple of hours at about 250. And then we'll come back for the next phase of turning these into what's like bacon pillows in your mouth of good, smoky, wonderful flavor. Like I said, my wife loves this, so I should be the hero all week long for making her pork belly burnt ends. All right, guys, so we've got the Summit Kamado up to temperature. So now we're gonna go ahead and get these pork bellies out on the smoker. All right, here's the second rack. There we go. We're gonna let these pork bellies stay on the smoker here for a couple of hours, and then we'll be ready to move on to the next phase. All right, guys, the pork bellies have been on the smoker for a little bit more than 2 hours. Been right around 250. I just go by the temperature gauge here on the Summit Kamado. I know it's not exactly at great level, so it's not going to be the exact temperature, but I have found it just works for me. Just knowing that I'm in that range of where I want to be, I feel confident that this reading, you know, gives me pretty much what I want. And again, the temperatures really hold well inside the Summit Kamado, so I'm not really worried about a lot of fluctuation. So it's kind of a non-issue for me. All right, so here's a look at what we got after 2 hours. They're taking on some nice color, getting that smoke. So the next step is we're going to tenderize these pork bellies. We're going to get them nice and tender, and we are also going to add some even more flavor to it to go along with that rub. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to transfer these over to this aluminum pan, and then we're going to add some brown sugar, some butter, and some honey. All right, we're gonna start off with some brown sugar, and I'm not measuring this. I'm just gonna take a handful of this brown sugar and just kind of sprinkle it all over here. There's no right or wrong way to do this. Just giving it the eyeball test. Because again, these are burnt ends, so we want them to be sweet. We won't stop there. We're also going to add some honey. Don't worry, I got another bottle in the kitchen. I'm probably going to use all of this up. Alright, I know, that's not the most flattering sound in the world. Get your minds out of the gutter. We're just emptying this honey bottle here and trying to get a lot of sweet flavor on these bites of bacon yumminess. Alright. So on top of that, I took about a stick and a half of butter and cut it into these little pats. Put one of these little ones right here. All right, so that's gonna give it even more flavor. All right, we're gonna get this covered in foil. And then I'm gonna repeat the process with the other rack and get this back on the smoker. All right, barbecue family, so it's been 2 hours since the last step where we bathed these pork bellies with the brown sugar, the honey, and butter. So what I'm gonna do next is I'm gonna take these off of the grill. I'm gonna take them inside, drain the liquid from them, and then I'm gonna hit them with a glaze. So let me see if I can give you guys a peek here at what they look like. Okay, so here's what they look like. So we got all that liquid in there. I'm gonna pour that liquid off and then hit this with that glaze. All right, guys, so put together this glaze, and basically what it is, it's about a cup of the rub that I used. So that's, in this case, it's Killer Hog's The BBQ Rub. Also with about 1/3 of a cup of apple juice and a tablespoon of Frank's hot sauce. Just heat that up over medium heat until it's smooth. You know what, guys, there was one more ingredient for that glaze that I forgot to mention. This is very important. About a quarter cup of apple butter. I mean, this is what really makes that glaze special and different. So this is basically the last step. So we're gonna hit this with this glaze. We're just gonna put them back on the smoker for about 5 to 10 minutes, just until they start to caramelize a little bit. And then once that happens, these pork belly burnt ends will be considered done. All right, guys, so while the puppy explores with the milk carton, which seems to be her current favorite toy, we'll see what Jeannine thinks about these pork belly burnt ends.
Alright, so first of all I want to thank you for making them, because they usually are my favorite thing. I'm going to take a big bite. Sorry for pouring out. Okay. They were really good. I know you were talking about putting more glaze on them, but I don't think you need to. They're so sweet, they just break apart in your mouth. Oh my god, they're good. I mean, you could put more sauce on them if you want, but I don't think you need it.
All right, guys, so I'm gonna leave it alone. All right, so what do you guys think? You're gonna try this recipe? I do highly recommend it. Pretty easy to do, just time consuming. You know, took about 5-6 hours total. The key really is to just try and keep a steady temperature, and you know, your pork belly burnt ends will turn out really tender. I mean, these, I really can't be happier with the tenderness. Flavor is always on point. So, highly recommend it. All right, guys, so I'm gonna wrap this up. Thanks again for joining me on my Backyard Smokemaster Barbecue channel. Once again, this is Kenyatta Robinson. Please like the video, subscribe if you haven't already. Take care. See you in the next one.